Welcome to Sriram's IAS. The topic for discussion is Lokpal, and Lokayukta. So what is the origin of Lokpal and Lokayukta and why Lokpal and Lokayukta are created? So let us try to understand the origin, that is the modern democratic states. The modern democratic states are characterized by welfaristic or welfare orientation. Characterized by welfare orientation. So, since the modern democratic states are characterized by welfare orientation, hence the government has come to play a major role in the socio-economic development of the nation. Okay, so the government has come to play a major role in the socio-economic development of the nation. Now, due to the welfare orientation of the modern democratic states, the government has come to play a major role in the accomplishment of the socio-economic development of the nation. So, this resulted in the expansion of bureaucracy. That is, bureaucracy got expanded. Expansion of not only bureaucracy but also the administrative processes. Administrative process also multiplied. So, expansion of bureaucracy and multiplicity of administrative processes, which in turn increased the administrative power and discretion of the bureaucracy. Okay, because of the expansion of bureaucracy and multiplicity of administrative process, that because of the welfaristic orientation and the accomplishment of socio-economic development by the government, so the administrative power and discretion increased. That is, the administrative power and discretion enjoyed by the civil servants at different levels was increased. Now, this abuse of power. Okay, now the civil servant who is enjoying administrative power, increased administrative power and discretion, is abusing the power and discretion. Because of this, now what is happening because of the abuse of power and discretion? It opens up the scope for harassment, malpractices, maladministration, and corruption. Okay, so the abuse of power and discretion by the civil servant at various levels opens up the scope for harassment, malpractices, maladministration, and corruption. So now, since this, because of this, now what arises? Okay, such a situation. Now there is a situation arising. Okay, because of this situation, it opens up the citizens grievances against administration. Okay, so this situation gives rise to citizens' grievances against administration. Now, what is a grievance? Grievance What is a grievance? Grievance is a ground of complaint. That is, on what grounds are you raising the complaint, or condition felt to be oppressive or wrongful. Okay, so grievance means a ground of complaint, or refers to a ground of complaint or a condition felt to be oppressive or wrongful. So, a quick recap. Okay, so Lokpal and Lokayukta, what is the origin? Okay, so the modern democratic states are characterized by welfaristic orientation. That is, providing various welfare schemes to the people. So, hence the government, because of the welfaristic orientation, the government has become a major player for the socio-economic development of the nation. Which resulted, because the government has become a major player, this resulted in the expansion of bureaucracy and multiplicity of administrative processes, because of the governmental or the government becoming a major player in the socio-economic development to cater to the welfaristic orientation. So, this expansion of bureaucracy and administrative process, it has increased the administrative power and discretion enjoyed by the civil servants at various levels of the government. This resulted, or this abuse of power. Now the civil servant is having increased administrative power and discretion. The civil servant is now abusing. This abuse of power and discretion by the civil servant opens up scope for harassment, malpractices, maladministration and corruption. So, this situation gives rise to citizens' grievances against administration. So, what is a grievance? Grievance is a ground of complaint or a condition felt to be oppressive or wrongful. Okay, so this is the basis for the Lokpal and Lokayukta. Now, the earliest, what is the earliest? Now you have citizens' grievance against administration, okay, because of the abuse of power and discretion by the civil servant. Now, the earliest democratic institution created in the world for the redressal of citizens' grievances is the Scandinavian Institution of Ombudsman. Scandinavian Institution of Ombudsman. This is the earliest democratic institution created in the world for redressal of citizens' grievances. That is the Scandinavian Institution of Ombudsman. The first country to establish the Scandinavian Institution of Ombudsman or Institution of Ombudsman is the Scandinavian country of Sweden in 1809. So, Sweden was the first country to establish the Institution of Ombudsman for the grievance of redressal of the citizens' grievance. So, what is Ombudsman? Ombudsman What does ombudsman refer to? Ombudsman is a Swedish term which refers to a person who acts as a representative or spokesperson for the other. Okay, so ombudsman is a Swedish term. It refers to a person who acts as a representative or spokesperson of the other. Now, the ombudsman, according to Donald C. Rower, ombudsman, the institute or he describes the ombudsman as an officer who is appointed by the legislature to handle the complaints against administrative and judicial actions. Okay, so according to Donald C. Rower, the institution of ombudsman refers to an officer appointed by the legislature to handle the complaints against administrative and judicial actions. So, this institution of ombudsman spread from Sweden to other Scandinavian countries like Finland, Denmark, Norway. In the year Finland 1919, Denmark 1955, Norway 1962. So, from Sweden, this spread to other Scandinavian countries like Finland, Denmark and Norway. Finland 1999, Denmark 1955 and Norway 1962. Okay. So, what is the first Commonwealth country which has established or created the institution of ombudsman is New Zealand. New Zealand is the first Commonwealth country to have established the institution of ombudsman in the year 1962 in the form of Parliamentary Commissioner for Investigation. UK also established the institution of ombudsman in the form of Parliamentary Commissioner for Administration in the year 1967. Okay, so first Commonwealth country to have established the institution of ombudsman is New Zealand in the year 1962 in the form of Parliamentary Commissioner for Investigation, and UK also established the institution of ombudsman in the form of Parliamentary Commissioner for Administration in the year 1967. So, this institution of ombudsman in India is called as Lokpal or Lokayukta. Lokpal or Lokayukta. So, this institution of ombudsman in India is called as Lokpal or Lokayukta. Donald C. Rower says that the institution of ombudsman is the bulwark of democratic government against the tyranny against the tyranny of officialdom. Okay, so bulwark means the protection against the tyranny, that is cruel rule of officialdom. Okay, so Donald C. Rawat says that the institution of ombudsman is the bulwark of democratic government against the tyranny of officialdom. Gerald E. Caden describes ombudsman as the institutionalized public conscience. Institutionalized public conscience. In India, the concept of constitutional ombudsman was first proposed by the then law minister Ashok Kumar Sen in the parliament in the early 1960s. Okay, the concept of constitutional ombudsman in India was for the first time proposed by the then law minister Ashok Kumar Sen in the parliament in early 1960s, and the term Lokpal and Lokayukta was coined by Dr. L.M. Singhvi. First Administrative Reforms Commission 1966-70 headed by Morarji Desai submitted a special interim report on problems of grievances, problems of redressal of public grievances. So, this was the special report submitted by ARC, first ARC of India, 1966-70, headed by Morarji Desai, submitted a special interim report on problems of redressal of public grievances. Okay, so the ARC recommended establishment of two special authorities, namely Lokpal and Lokayukta for the redressal of citizens' grievances. Okay, and it also recommended that these two special authorities should be set up on the pattern of institution of ombudsman in Scandinavian countries. Institution of ombudsman in Scandinavian countries and parliamentary commissioner for investigation in New Zealand. Okay, so the ARC recommended for setting up of two special authorities in its special interim report, that is problems of redressal of public grievances. These two special authorities were Lokpal and Lokayukta for redressal of citizens' grievances. So it also recommended to set up these two authorities, special authorities, on the pattern of institution of ombudsman in Scandinavian countries, and parliamentary commissioner for investigation in New Zealand. Okay, so these are the recommendations of ARC. Now, how many attempts were made? Okay, after making 10 attempts to bring about a legislation on this subject, that is a legislation on Lokpal and Lokayukta, 10 attempts were made by the government. The first attempt was made in the year 1968 by the then Congress government headed by Indira Gandhi. The 10th attempt was made in the year 2011 by UPA government headed by Dr. Manmohan Singh. So, the first 10 attempts were made to bring about the legislation. First attempt was made in 1968 by the Congress government headed by Indira Gandhi. 10th attempt was made in 2011 by UPA government headed by Dr. Manmohan Singh. The 10th bill, that is Lokpal and Lokayukta Bill 2011 was enacted as Lokpal and Lokayukta Act 2013. Lokpal and Lokayukta's Act 2013. Okay, so the 10th bill, or after making 10 attempts, the Lokpal and Lokayukta's Bill 2011 was enacted as Lokpal and Lokayukta's Act 2013. So, now let us try to find out the provisions of Lokpal and Lokayukta Bill 2000, Lokayukta's Bill 2013. So, regarding it proposed the establishment of Lokpal at the central level and Lokayukta at the state level. Okay, Lokpal at the central level, Lokayukta at the state level, to provide a uniform vigilance and anti-corruption roadmap throughout the nation for both center and states. Okay, to provide uniform vigilance and anti-corruption roadmap throughout the country for both center and states. Now, what about the jurisdiction? Does it include the Prime Minister? Yes, it includes the Prime Minister, ministers, Prime Minister, ministers, and members of the Parliament, Group A, B, C, D officers, and officers of the central government. Okay, so its jurisdiction includes Prime Minister, ministers, members of the Parliament, Group A, B, C, D officers, and officers of the central government. Now, what about the composition? The composition, it includes a chairperson plus a maximum of 8 members, and 50% of the members should be judicial members, that is, they should be from the judicial background, and also 50% of the members should be from amongst the SC, ST, OBC, minorities and women. Okay, so regarding the composition, it consists of the chairperson and a maximum of 8 members. 50% of the members should be from the judicial background, that is, they should be judicial members, and 50% of the members should be from amongst the SC, ST, OBC, minorities and women. So, what about the selection? The selection of the chairperson and the members are made through a selection committee. Made through a selection committee. Now, what is the composition of the selection committee? The selection committee consists of 5 members. Okay, Prime Minister, Speaker of the Lok Sabha, Leader of the Opposition in Lok Sabha, CJI, Chief Justice of India, or a sitting judge nominated by sitting judge of the Supreme Court, nominated by the Chief Justice of India, and an eminent jurist nominated by the President on the recommendation of the first 4 members. So, the selection of the chairperson and members is through a selection committee. The selection committee consists of the Prime Minister, Speaker of the Lok Sabha, Leader of the Opposition in the Lok Sabha, Chief Justice of India or the sitting judge of Supreme Court nominated by the Chief Justice of India, and an eminent jurist nominated by the President on the recommendation of first 4 members of the selection committee. So, this is about the selection committee. Now, having understood the Lokpal and Lokayukta Act 2013, now what about the Lokayuktas? Even before the enactment of Lokpal and Lokayukta Act 2013, many states have established Lokayukta. So, Maharashtra is the first state which has established Lokayukta in 1971. Although Odisha has enacted the law in 1970 or passed the law in 1970, it has came into force only in 1983. Okay, so Lokpals are already established even before the Act, the Lokpal and Lokayukta Act 2013 was enacted. So, first state to establish Lokayukta is Maharashtra in 1971, and Odisha, although the act was passed in 1970, it came into force in 1983. Now, the Lokpal and Lokayukta Act 2013 was amended, and Lokpal and Lokayukta Amendment Act of 2016. So, the Lokpal and Lokayukta's Amendment Act 2016 was amended Lokpal and Lokayukta Act 2013. It also amended, or it made a provision that in the absence of a recognized leader of opposition, in the absence of a recognized leader of the opposition, the leader of the largest party in the Lok Sabha can be a member of the selection committee. Okay, we have already understood that in the selection committee, one of the member is, out of the 5 members, one of the member is leader of opposition. But in the absence of a recognized leader of the opposition, the leader of the largest party in the Lok Sabha can become a member of the selection committee. And also it amended section 44 of the 2013 Act, that is Lokpal and Lokayukta's Act 2013. So, section 44 deals with the provisions relating to the furnishing of details of the assets and liabilities of the public servants within 30 days. That is, it deals with the provisions relating to the furnishing of details of assets and liabilities. Furnishing of the details of assets and liabilities of the public servants within 30 days of joining the government service. Okay. Now, the time limit the time limit of within 30 days has been replaced in the Amendment Act, and also the public servants should declare their assets and liabilities in the form and manner as prescribed by the government. So, the Lokpal and Lokayukta's Amendment Act 2016 has amended the Lokpal and Lokayukta's Act 2013. The leader, in the absence of the recognized leader of the opposition, the leader of the largest party can be a member of the selection committee. It amended section 44 of the 2013 Act, which deals with the provisions relating to the furnishing of details of the assets and liabilities of the public servant within 30 days. Now, the Amendment Act 2016 has done away with the time limit, that is within 30 days, that is, it is replaced. Now, the public servant has to declare his assets and liabilities in the form and manner as prescribed by the government. So, this is about the Lokpal and Lokayuktas. Thank you.